Obvious question of the day. Why in the world did I fly to Bucharest, Romania, and sit down with Andrew Tate for an interview? At least that's a question that's been on some people's minds.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Thank you for coming to my channel. My name is Wally, and you are now tuning to Playboy Hustlers TV.
Hey, this the king of melodies beat.
Yo, this right here, everybody's in shambles right now. They're trying to see, why did Candace Owens interview Andrew Tate? But she explains it herself right here. I actually heard the interview. I gotta say this, man. I got a new light for Andrew Tate. They really trying to hate on him. They really trying to twist things up. You gotta remember, laws are different in every country. So something that they call a law here may mean something different there. You understand what I mean? So I'm gonna let her explain it. Let's go, baby.
So last week the show was off air because obviously I flew to Bucharest, Romania to sit down with Andrew Tate, and to make it clear, that interview was in the works for a lot of months. We were actually trying to get there a lot earlier, but it turned out with everything that was going on that the best time that worked was last week. And I am completely stunned by the reaction. Obviously there's been over 2 million views of our 3-hour interview on YouTube alone, and many more because people have ripped the content and put it everywhere. And that's been incredible. It's been an incredible response, and a majority positive response of people saying that they really needed to hear this conversation, particularly men saying that they needed to hear this conversation. Something is brewing in the category of masculinity. Men are not feeling like they have been heard for years, something that I have been saying for a long time, that obviously we are existing under a matriarchy. So why did I interview Andrew Tate? Some people asked. He's not a conservative. He's not a Christian, some people said. I mean, that to me has got to be the most ridiculous question ever asked. Do you think that every person that I have on this show is a conservative and a Christian?
That's a fact, yo. I mean, sometimes you got to step outside of your circle. You know, you got to get other people's perspective in life. You understand what I mean? That's how things get solved, yo.
Do you think the job of conservatives and Christians who have podcasts is to only host people that agree with them? People that they sit across from and go, yes, we are exactly the same person. Obviously not. Or nobody would have a podcast. I've had plenty of people on this show that I have fundamental disagreements with over and over again. I had the founder of BLM New York on this show before, and we had many disagreements. The idea is that when you see people that have a platform and have different ideas, and sometimes the same ideas, you sit across from them and you foster a conversation, especially when the person is as interesting as Andrew Tate. Because far be it from the suggestion that conservatives in America platformed Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate created his platform all by himself, and it is a fascinating one that is newsworthy because tens of millions of young men around the world listen to him.
Word. And not for nothing, he out here telling people how to put on, but what they keep doing is showing you his past. You understand? Always make sure you pay attention to what they throwing at you. Take it, throw it to the side, and dig deep in research, all right? And then you will really find the truth. You know what I mean? He put on for himself. What happened is people were hating on him so hard, you know, they uplifted him. He was gonna get to where he was going, no matter what. No matter what, all right? They just helped out with the cause. Just the same thing what they're doing with Jason Aldean. You understand what I mean? They pushed the song to the top. They try to silence you and only make you a bigger monster. You know what I mean? Hey, you got to use it for positivity. Don't never let them break you down. You keep going. Learn from Tate, man, because he could have been broke down already.
Listen to him every single day. So many people listen to him that within 24 hours, we broke a record by having a 3-hour conversation with him on this show. More than 1 million people watched it in just a 24-hour span, and that number is climbing.
And that's 3 hours. 2 million people listen to 3 hours.
So yes, he is a newsworthy person. His platform is going to exist with or without conservatives in America speaking to him. Now let's lean further into that, because there's another thing that I would like to point to, because I want to make it clear, as I did throughout that interview, that I do not come from a background of conservatism. Yes, my grandfather was very Christian, and he planted those seeds for me, which I think essentially is the reason why I bloomed to be the individual that I was today. But as I always say, I took a very liberal route to conservatism. So when I am speaking to people about the ills of liberalism, I'm speaking to them from a position of someone who had lived that way. When I speak to people, as I did a few weeks ago, about the reasons why I don't consume alcohol, I'm speaking to them as somebody who used to drink a ton of alcohol, right? Which means they're able to better identify with me. People don't understand is that the reason that I'm a conservative today is not because there were squeaky clean conservatives that had podcasts that I listened to and I said, yeah, that really resonates for me. No, that is not how it works. That is not how spiritual maturation works. It is a process. I like to say that I think that everybody is sort of vibrating at different frequencies throughout periods of their life. For example, when I was young, I talk about how I used to listen to Jay-Z's music. I used to listen to hip hop music. I used to be able to.
Basically, everyone has stages in their life. Each stage, as you progress, you look at the previous one and be like, huh, what was I thinking about? What was I even thinking about doing that? You get what I mean? So everyone grows, everyone progresses. But, you know, the media likes to show the people what they want, so they'll go to stage one.
Listen to music that a lot of times had very bad words in it, talked about really dark themes, but at that moment in my life is what I could relate to. And Jay-Z's music, as I said in that interview with Andrew Tate, felt like something that I could relate to because he was a person that came from nothing and he made something of himself. So it was a frequency, if you will, or a vibration that I could respond to, thinking, okay, I can actually make something of myself too. People that don't come from nothing like to look up to people that also don't come from nothing because it makes that process seem more attainable. That's the truth. And then as I matured and I look back and I can't listen to some of the same stuff that I listen to anymore. It sounds so harsh on my ears because I'm no longer in those circumstances. That music is not as relatable to me, but it doesn't mean that I can't relate to the people that still relate to those sorts of music. I don't leave them behind and say, oh, well, I don't understand how you ever listened to this crap, because I do very much understand how they listen to that music.
Basically, that's like being a player, turning a coach, and forgetting what used to happen out in the field. You understand what I mean?
And why for a lot of people that is and can sound like the only hope that they have in their life. So as I said, that spiritual development can be a process. Today I listen to people that could have never brought me over to the conservative side when I was just getting started. Back when I was just getting started, it was people like Dave Rubin, who I have a lot of, I think, fundamental disagreements with today. But when I was first getting into politics, listening to his podcast, Rubin Report, going on his show, him showing me his friendship and talking to me about issues made it feel like it was an okay place for me to begin my journey. When really all I really understood at that point in my career was that something was really wrong with leftist principles, that perhaps leftist principles were holding Black Americans back. That was my focus at the time, before I really understood that it was much bigger than that. And thankfully, I've been given a platform to go through that process of maturation, but with people that have said, Candace, look further, go further. And so today I can really sound quite puritanical when I talk to young women, but I don't speak to them with snobbery. I don't look down my nose and say, how could you follow this person?
Yeah, man, this is what I say to everyone. Never forget where you came from, especially when you're pulling people back up. You understand what I mean?
How could you listen to this person? Again, I am reminding you that there are tens of millions of young men and adult men worldwide who listen to Andrew Tate. So the job is not to judge those individuals and to tell them that they shouldn't listen to him. That doesn't work, okay? You can't hate somebody out of existence. The job is to try to understand why, and the way that you understand why is by asking meaningful questions and not judging. Why does Andrew Tate have the platform that he has? What is it that these young men are responding to? Quite curiously, people that follow him, even the people that I know in my life, are really good examples of what it means to be a man.
People really dislike what they don't understand, and they can't understand how you're doing it and winning and succeeding. That hurts people.
Men that lead their families, men that are masculine, not the kinds of men that we see in society today that treat women poorly. So the question is, why do so many good men that I know follow Andrew Tate? That sparks my curiosity, right? It's the reason why I get on a plane, I go to Bucharest, because I want to understand it. I think that would make me somebody that is a journalist, right?
Yeah, because she could have went a different direction with it. She could have just started assuming a legend and going in on him without even speaking to the guy, like how most people do.
You're curious about something and you go and you ask the questions. And I was able to understand it actually when sitting across from Andrew Tate for 3 hours. It's because over the last maybe more than 10 years, we have been existing under a rabid matriarchy where women think that we are the ones that get to define what is and is not masculinity, that if we keep shrieking loudly about what a man should be, somebody maybe tail in between the legs listens to our every barking order, that society will be able to function.
A lot of you men are like this too.
No, far from that. In fact, this toxic matriarchy that we are existing in is a bit like hell on earth right now, right? As I said to Andrew Tate in that interview, it is because Lena Dunham existed that Andrew Tate exists today. Because men were told that they were nothing, because men are routinely having that narrative reinforced to them by the mainstream media and culture. Because so many women rap about and sing about how bad men are, because they make a mockery of relationships, because we talk about feminism, toxic brand of feminism that really is about mocking men and making them feel badly. And so now you have a man that stands up and says, you can work out, you can start a business, you can be strong. We don't have to listen to these kinds of women. And men are having not just a psychological, but a biological response to that. Saying, yes, I knew that I could be more. I knew that everything that I'm hearing from the mainstream media isn't right. So again, rather than judging those men, maybe it is our job as women to try to understand why it is that Andrew Tate has a platform.
You understand what I mean? Yeah, people love to hate. They don't like to question things. They don't even want to be part of it. It's just like I see someone who's successful, you know, they have a good job, a career, you know, they have all their ducks in a row. I'm not going to sit there and hate. I'm going to ask them questions. I'm trying to see how they got there so I can see how I can get there. You get me? It's that simple. Life is that simple. People are the one. People make their own lives complicated. Remember that.
In closing, what I will say to you guys is this. LOL to anybody who thinks that they can tell me who I can sit down with and speak to. I am the same woman who once tweeted that I would like to sit down with Vladimir Putin, and I still would like to sit down with Vladimir Putin today.
Nah, I would like to see that right there.
Because I'm curious, because I don't accept the mainstream media as it is, and as it tells me the narrative is, what we're supposed to believe about certain individuals. And so, yes, I believe if a lot of people were alive today, I probably would have sat down with them, people that we are told are horrible, backwards people. Again, I'm just a curious individual, and I will remain curious, and I'm proud of the sit down that I had with Andrew Tate.
You understand me? So yeah, man, if you got a problem with that, hey, man, you know what to do. Get off the internet, word. Yeah, so with that being said, make sure you go to Candace Owens channel and show her some love, all right? Because she definitely be putting on for the people, you hear me? And on another note, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. I will see you in the next one. Love, y'all.